Hey, my name is Darius. My business is Cat Jacks LLC. We specialize in retrofitting Ethernet wiring. I noticed there's a lot of videos on I guess nothing. So I want to make a couple of videos, and I hope you gain something from it. The first video I felt like was the easiest to make is going to be a different type of flex bits, different type of bits used to retrofit and add wiring to walls. So as a low voltage installer, it's very important to have different bits. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube, but none of them really go in depth about the different bits and what they do and the type that you should have. So I'm just gonna make a quick video, and like I said, I hope it's useful for you. So the first bit that I wanna go over is an Auger bit, this flexible Auger bit. Usually 3 feet long. I would recommend that length. You can get them 3 feet to 6 feet. But the Auger bit is pretty much a good bit to just make a drill shot when your drill shot that you're trying to make is, I would say, you can't actually reach it or you don't have the right angle. These flex bits allow you to bend and make that angle that you need. So if I was trying to go here, but my drill is over here where my hand is, now I can make that drill shot still a straight drill shot because this bit is able to bend and still drill. So that's what you need when you're doing retrofitting. You're trying to hit areas that already have obstacles in the way, like sheetrock or a water pipe or even electrical line. You need bits that can bend and flex so you can still get the angle while avoiding those things, or you can fit in the cramped spots and make different drill shots. So that's what you need them for. This one just has a little bit of insulation on it because I also use it as a rod when I need to fish a wire somewhere. So this one I had to fish through some insulation that's an electrician had just put in, so I need to fish through it. But either way, the other one that we're going to talk about is this is a Quattro flex bit. The Quattro flex bit, the only thing that makes this one good is it's very speedy. It can get through wood board really quick. The one thing that you're going to notice about a lot of my flex bits is they have the threaded tips to them. The threaded tips allow the bit not to walk when you're doing certain drill shots. So if you can see what you need to drill, and also you're trying not to damage something, and you have a real precise spot that you need to hit, you want to have something with a threaded tip. That way, once it makes contact, it doesn't move. So you want something like that. All right, the next thing, after I make my hole, I have this guy. This guy basically is a flexible bit. It allows me to put anything quick change into it. So the first quick change thing that I have is a step bit. I used to only use step bits for metal, but what I found out is you can use step bits for wood as well. I mean, if it can cut metal, it can cut wood. And then I noticed they started making them better. This isn't like the little gold ones that you use. This one actually, it just drills a lot cleaner holes, and it also drills a lot smoother. So what I use this for is I'll start off with this one, a smaller bit. That way, if I do make a mistake, it's not a big mistake, but I start with a smaller bit, then I come back with this step bit, and then I can make that hole bigger. So I can make that one little hole into a 3/4 hole, and this helps it stay centered in the same hole that I made. Also, it helps where if I was to brush up against some existing structure, framing, wiring, it doesn't do much damage to it. But if I had a paddle bit on here, which I used to use, paddle bits would make a lot of damage. The next thing is, I call this one a bell hanger. Bell hanger bits, you can use these for doing wall fishes where you're kind of blind and you need to drill upward. These are made in a way that if you push on them hard enough, they kind of do like that. They separate from the wall. There's like a gap, as you see. It separates from the wall, and that allows it to stay within the wall when drilling upward. You don't want the screw tip on this one when you're drilling blind, because you kind of want it to find its way off of the wall so it can go up. You usually use these when you're drilling up and you kind of have it flat up against a stud and drill up, and then that gap the way that this bit is made, it will force it off the wall like so and keep it in. It's a type of force you have to apply to it in order for it to work. But that's what that's used for, blind drill shots. Then I have this one. This is one of those steel drill bits. It's made for cutting through metal. And then also wood. I used to use this drill bit all the time, especially when drilling down into a crawl space. I would use this drill bit. Basically, I knew if I hit a nail, I would be able to get through it. So this is the one that I use when drilling down into a crawl space. It just works perfect every time. The next one, this is like a bell hanger and an auger bit put together. It has the threaded tip to it, but it's still a bell hanger. So this one, I sort of retired it. I don't use it as much, but if I have this one and I just need to make the hole a little bigger, then I use this one instead of coming back with this one, making it into a 3/4 hole. This one will allow me to make it into a 1/2 inch hole. So that's good enough for 2. You're pushing it 3 Cat 6 wires, but at least 2 for sure can get through this 1/2 inch. The next one that I have is the extension. You definitely want the extension. The extension is good for when you have, you're drilling between floors from the first story to the second story. I've done drill shots where I've gone from the attic down all the way to the crawl space. So 3 of these connected together will get you from the attic all the way down to the crawl space without you having to cut open any drywall or anything like that. So the extensions are real good. It has the Allen screw. This one, it needs to be retired. I already lost one of the Allen screws, so it's barely hanging on by a thread now, literally. So I'll just replace that when I get a chance. The other one that I have is another one of the auger bits. The auger bit is this one. It's just a bigger, wider one. So basically I can turn my little hole into a bigger hole. I never start a hole with a big bit. One, for if I damage or make a mistake, it's an easy fix. But also, you kill your batteries using a bigger bit. So you want to use little bits to start your holes and then follow them up with the bigger bits if you need to make it bigger. But for now, I'm using step bits to make my holes bigger. So that's what I'm using. Next, this is a broken one. I break these, man. I put a lot of pressure on them, but this one needs to get out of my tool bag. I have another extension for the quick change. The quick change, like I said, you can put a paddle bit on it. So let me show you an example real quick. This is a paddle bit. You can just put a paddle bit on it. When do I use the paddle bits? I would say if I'm in an attic and there's fire block and I need to get through the fire block, I drill 2 holes. I drill 1 hole at the top and then I drill a second hole right beside it. And what this does is I can shine a flashlight down the first hole, which allows me to see, it lights up the whole wall, and I can see inside the wall from the second hole. So then I can stick this down the second hole, and then I can line it up above that fire block and then drill down. And I like paddle bits for that. Paddle bits, I recommend because they don't eat your battery. You can just let it eat. That's what I call it. Just let it eat. Don't apply a lot of pressure. Just let it spin and let it eat. Especially if it's a sharp one, you just let it eat. That's the further you are from your hole, the more you're going to need a sharp bit or a good drill or a good battery, because the further you are away from your hole, the harder it is to drill. So I recommend paddle bits if you're very far from your hole. But if you need precise drilling, I don't recommend paddle bits because they are notorious for tearing up anything that they touch. If they were to slip or walk, they will tear up anything. Also, they're not friendly with insulation and things like that. But if I use one of these auger bits at a hole that's really, really far away, the auger bit might bind because it's the way that this thread pulls it, it's not that friendly. So if you need a big hole and you need it fast, go with a paddle bit. But that's how I use the paddle bits. Then while I got my tools out, I might as well show you. So I use rods. I don't use fish tape. I don't use magnets or anything like that. I use strictly rods. The reason why, when it comes to rods, I know the length of the rod that I'm gonna need in order to get down the wall. So if my rods don't make it down the wall, I know I'm not there yet. So that's the reason why. If you use pull string, or you use a chain, or you use anything like that, you could get caught on something and you won't find out till you cut your hole out, and then you're trying to reach for your wire and you realize your chain's caught on a electrical box on the other side of the wall, or it's caught on a light switch on the other side of the wall, or it's caught on something else. So it's a waste. So it's a waste of time. So I like to use rods. That way I can know my exact length and make it. The rods that I go with, these are LSD rods. I like the name, but it's labor saving devices. They make great things for techs like me. Klein does too, but these are long and trusted, and I'll be honest with you, they do have some sentimental value. I purchased these rods as the first tool when I decided to make my own business. I was like, hey, this is gonna be the first thing I invest money in. And I even have one, you can see it's rusted and it's a whole nother color from the others, but this is one of my original rods from when I started my business 10 years ago. So and it's still here. So that's how you know these are good rods. And they're really flexible. Like I said, they allow me to flex into some tight spots. Like if I'm in the eave of an attic, those real tight spots, and I've drilled down and I need something that can do a bend like that, like look at that, that's a crazy bend, but I can get down that wall real easy. So I like these type of rods. The other thing I like about these rods is there's so many different attachments for them. As you see, there's a magnet. I made that. This is called a wet noodle. I just cut it and taped it and drilled it on. It's about to fall off. But anyway, it's basically I can put a chain down the wall and I can fish this up and grab it in some tight spots or some far away spots. So that's one. And did I mention, yeah, all these can screw together. So if one rod is only 3 feet, but if I need to get further down a wall or farther away, I can screw them in. The average length is 8 feet to 10 feet to get down from the attic to a wall, to the bottom of a wall. So I know if I have 3 of these screwed together, I know I'm going to get down the wall. So the next attachment that I have is the hook. Hook is real good for if you're in a crawl space, or you're in the attic and you just want to retrieve your wire and it's in a faraway spot, or you're on a ladder and you don't want to lean too much. This is what the hook is good for. It's good for just pulling things. Also in a crawl space, this is my friend. I don't go in a crawl space without some type of web killer. So this is what I use to swat down spider webs as I'm going into a spot, and if I'm not sure about something, I use this to poke it and move it before I put my hand on it. Just a quick note, if you're worried about snakes, that's the #1 rule, is don't put your hands somewhere you can't see. So this will go somewhere if I'm sketchy before I even stick my hand in it. I will stick this in it. I'll use this to move insulation or move an obstacle before I use my hand. The other attachment is the Z-hook. This allows you to push wire and also pull wire. The Z-hook is cool because it has blades in it, so it actually grips onto the wire, so when you're pushing the wire up, it's not going to slip out. And then vice versa, if you're trying to pull a wire, this hooks into the wire, cuts into it a little bit, so it has a good grip on it. So if you're pulling from a long distance or whatnot, this is or you're pulling through some like air duct, like an air duct is laying on your wire or something like that, this does great with keeping a grip on it. My other hook would have just let it go. It'll just let it slide on out, but this one doesn't let it slide out. The next thing that I have as attachments are these little threadeds. Oregon threadeds, I believe is what they're called, but basically it allows me not to have to use tape. I hate electrical tape. Electrical tape leaves a residue on the wire, it leaves a residue on my tools, and I just hate it. It's dirty, it's sticky, it's nasty. So I use masking tape whenever I do have to use tape. Painter's tape is real strong, and then it's also a quick rip away. If I'm done with the masking tape, I just pull it off. But anyway, this is about the thread. This thread, you can actually put a wire on it and twist the wire on. I'll show you. That's crazy. I just got scrap wire all over the place. But check it out. I can put the wire onto the thread and then just twist it, and that just goes up into the wire. And then if you pull, can't even get it off. So that's, I mean, look at that. That's threaded in there. So that's pretty much what I was talking about. This pretty much will grasp any wire and make it where you can just pull it. This is real good for if you have a exact diameter hole and you don't want to tape this on and make your hole smaller. This allows your hole to work for you without you having to make a bigger hole. Also without you having to waste tape, and also spend time peeling tape off of stuff. So that's what I use these for. As you see, I have a total of 4 of them, so I can pretty much fish, you know, 4 walls at a time when I'm up in the attic. And then I have all these extension bits, so each one can grab 2 and, you know, do the math, and I'm able to fish, like I said, 4 walls at the same time and not run out of material. My last tool that's a new addition to the bag is this this grabby thing. What is this used for? So there's some drill shots that I have to do that are in insulated walls, and sometimes the insulation covers the top plate, so I can't see it with my inspection camera. So what I do is I drill my hole, then I stick this down in the hole, and I stick my inspection camera down in the hole, and then I use this to grab on to the insulation and then pull back up, and now my camera can see the top plate or see any obstacles, any electrical wires, anything that I might hit before I attempt my drill shot. So what I used to do was I would put a paddle bit on, and then I would spin it forward, spin it backwards, and usually it would wrap the insulation around it and move it out the way, but you would just have to get real lucky doing it, and so I got tired of that. So and then also it would make a mess. Sometimes it would just you know, shred up the insulation and just make it an even worse mess. So once I found out, one day I was just like, there gotta be a solution, and I bought this. I was like, this might work, and sure enough, I stuck it in a hole, grabbed onto the insulation, pulled up, and my camera could see everything that was below that insulation was hiding, so I could see the full top plate. So that's my newest addition to the tool kit. But anyway, I just wanted to make this video because, like I said, I saw a lot of videos when I typed in flex bit. I didn't see anything that mentioned the different types, and then also there was like a how to use it video, but it still didn't go over the different types and what you would want to do and how you'll want to do it. But anyway, I plan on making more videos. I'm going to have a video on how to actually fish a wall, how to actually do the multi-floor fish, like going from the second floor down to the first floor without damaging sheetrock and all that. So you'll actually get to see all these tools in use in order to do that and make it happen. But anyway, I just wanted to share this video. I hope it was useful to someone. Leave a comment if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, if you have any tips, but pretty much that's it. I just wanted to give an example, but that's flex bits. This will be the what they call it, the I don't know what they call on YouTube, the little picture, the little snapshot thing. But anyway, this will be the picture.